Namaste. Hello everyone. Welcome to Shail Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Today I have brought for you another picture which I saw on social media, which is a fascinating picture of Shiva and Parvati. And Parvati seems to be holding up a mirror, a looking glass to Shiva, and he's looking into it. And just below Parvati's hand is the Shivlingam, which we know is the principle of Shaivism. So, I want to share some thoughts that I had when I saw this beautiful picture. When Parvati is holding up what seems to be a looking glass or a mirror to Shiva, and Shiva is gazing into it, it seems to imply that she is the one who helps him to see himself, to recognize himself. In Kashmir Shaivism, for the word recognize, we break it into two and we call it recognize. When we recognize what we are by looking into a glass or a mirror which reflects us. And the Shivling, of course, always implies the principles of Shaivism, which is that Shiva and Shakti create this entire universe with everything that exists in it: the mountains, the rivers, the breeze, the animals, and the human beings, and the flowers, and so on. Interestingly, the word samsara, which we have in Hindi, which means the world, can also be broken up into two words, sam and sar. Sam means pretty much the same as same. Sam means the same consciousness as Shiva. And Sara means summary. So samsara, interestingly, also means that this created universe is just a summary of what Shiva is. You see, Shiva, in his pristine essence, as the supreme energy that originates everything, emanates everything, is infinite, so he has no way of measuring himself or looking at himself other than creating this universe. And then when he looks into this universe, when he sees the things that are happening in it, when he sees the plants and the animals and the people and the events and our actions, he is able to understand more of his own creation. This is what the Shivaling means, and this is what samsara means. Now, there is a very wonderful sutra in the Shiva Sutras, in the Shambhav Upaya, the sutra number 14, which says Drishyam Shariram. Drishyam, which is scenery, and Shariram, which is body. So the sutra implies that a yogi who is on the path of reconnecting himself with Shiva comes to a stage which is a fairly superior stage in yoga, where the drishyam, the scenery that he sees, seems to be a bit like his own body, an extension of his own body. So the understanding here is that after doing a lot of yoga and dhyana and reading the Shiva Sutras, there is a stage in which the yogi starts feeling the interconnectedness of all things, starts feeling that whatever scenery that he sees, whatever drishya that he sees, is somewhere a part of him. And at this stage, the feeling is a little hazy, and the experience is, I am this. And later, as the yogi goes higher and higher into his yoga, this feeling becomes even more concentrated on Shiva consciousness. And it becomes even clearer that the universe is connected, everything does come from Shiva. Now, a lot of modern mystics like to help us in our meditation and dhyana by giving us visualizations. They often ask us, visualize this or visualize that, and you will go into a state of calmness, peacefulness, and expansion. And Shiva, in his text of the Vigyan Bhairav, which he gives to the Devi, has given no less than 112 yoga dharanas, methods of reaching Shivaness. And we could say that these are like visualizations. Some of them are very technical meditations, and some are visualizations. And I was thinking to myself, what could be a visualization to get to this state of Drishyam Shariram? And if we put the word Shariram first and the word Drishyam second, Shariram Drishyam, it becomes a very interesting visualization, which is exactly what this picture was about. When you look into a reflection of yourself and you witness your own body as a scenery. Now, when we do that, and the ladies, of course, have to do that on a daily basis, they have to look at their own image in a mirror and do their makeup and whatever. But in the process, we are getting into a sort of witness consciousness. We are witnessing ourselves. So when the yogi does this, when he looks into a looking glass, and the looking glass becomes big, the looking glass is the entire world. The whole world is his looking glass. And by observing the world, he gets to know more and more about himself and about the experience that this scenery is somewhere a part of me. A little example I can give you in day-to-day life, something which all of you must have felt at some point, is that suppose that you are a bunch of friends, 4 or 5 friends, who are really thick, and you do all things together. You go to restaurants together, you go on picnics together, you watch films together, you play together. You spend a lot of time in each other's company. And then, for some reason, let's say one of the friends goes away to a very far off town and is not in your immediate company. And then you again go to a favorite restaurant and order some favorite things, a coffee, a pizza, or a tandoori naan, or something like that. And one of the friends says that she or he is missing the friend who's gone away. And then let's say you get up and imitate that friend out of love. You know, had she been here, she would have done this, and she would have had her coffee like this, and she would have called the waiter like this, and so on and so forth. And you imitate her out of love, and you imitate her so well that the rest of the friends clap for you. And they say, amazing, yes, this is what she would have done. And immediately after this, a thought does cross your mind, how much of that friend you have in you. You love her so much, and you can imitate her in happiness, in joy, just for, sharing with others. And you realize, well, I can imitate her so well because there is so much of her in me. This is a very small glimpse of what Drishyam Shariram actually means. And like I said, to get to that stage of Drishyam Shariram, of course, it is necessary to read our Bodh Gyan, to read our scriptures, to be attentive of them, to have dhyana on them, meditation. And then finally, we will come to a point where we start feeling the oneness absolutely clearly. I hope you liked this little video, and if you want to know more about the Shiva Sutras, you can connect with me on my Facebook page, which is the same name as our YouTube channel, Shal Gulhati Shiva and Mysticism, and I can try and tell you something there, or then organize an online session or something like that. I will be back next Monday with another episode. Please join me here on the same channel. Om Namah Shivaya.